Hey, it's Steve. It's March 30th, 2017, 45 degrees out, and I'm just going to do a relatively short Geo Rant today. I'm all stressed out trying to buy a house and a bunch of other crap going down right now, and it's just frustrating. But that aside, I want to talk today about geologic time. Now, geologists break down geologic time on Earth by we name it, okay? We name things like eons, eras, periods, stuff like that. But the names have their roots in the 19th century. Well, actually, they used to. Back in the 19th century, geologists really didn't know how old things were. I mean, radiometric dating now has been around for almost exactly 100 years. But before that, they just had the rocks to go by. So they divided the rocks into four basic groups, and they just named them simply. You had primary, which is the oldest; secondary, which was a little younger than primary; tertiary, which was younger than secondary; and quaternary, which was the youngest of all. Now, well, as time went on, we learned a lot more about the Earth. We learned that basically what those four divisions were akin to in modern geologic time units is primary is basically what we now call the Precambrian super eon, which is divided into three eons in and of itself, the oldest being the formation of the Earth, which is the Hadean, then the Archean, and then the Proterozoic, which is where modern plate tectonics first appears. Clumped together generically, that's called the Precambrian. So that was roughly equivalent to the primary. Secondary was roughly equivalent to what we call today as the Paleozoic and the Mesozoic eras. The Paleozoic would be the Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, and Carboniferous, and the Permian. That's since the Cambrian being the oldest. And the Mesozoic is the age of the dinosaurs, Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. So that was secondary. Tertiary basically applied to anything that was post-Mesozoic, but pre-Quaternary. And we still use the term tertiary until 2012 when we got rid of it. But that's the first part of what's called the Cenozoic era. We still use the term Cenozoic. But the tertiary is now divided into the Paleogene, which is the oldest, and the Neogene, which is the youngest. And the most recent one, Quaternary, we still use, although I'm sure the next time the next geologic time scale is released, that too will be gone. The Quaternary, they gave it its own, even though it only encompasses about 2.6 million years. They didn't know that at the time, but because of the glacial deposits in the northern hemisphere, just so extensive that they just called it the Quaternary. And we still call the Quaternary the same thing. I mean, it's essentially an equivalent. But like I said, that'll probably disappear in the next few years as well. And then the original 19th century classification scheme of primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary will be gone into the dustbins of history. Just on a quick note though, primary, even though primary, which is equivalent to Precambrian, is 88+% the age of all of Earth's history, they didn't know that at the time. And the rocks exposed were scattered, so they just so that big huge lump they just didn't understand very well. But anyway, I hope you learned something. Have a good day.